Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FanScription podcast. I am Walter Benesiak.
I thought you were Zack Snyder.
Well, you know what? Today, you might be right, Rob. We are here today to talk about Avengers Infinity War. If you're watching this podcast or listening to it, you just probably saw the What If Zack Snyder directed Avengers Infinity War, which just went up. So we mentioned at the end of the last podcast that I was going to be doing more of a comedic episode, a little bit lighter in tone.
I have to admit, I was worried.
You were worried, concerned. What were your concerns, Rob?
I just thought, because we've been doing this, taking it seriously, that I was like, I don't know, to do a jokey episode, and we haven't been able to see the comments yet, but when I saw it, I'm like, okay, this is really freaking funny.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Your Zack Snyder kills me all the time.
I'm sorry, Rob. It's just part of who I am now.
I want to do Infinity War 2, the Snydering.
We did a video called The Snydering, which you can check out on this channel right now. Also, the Christmas Snydering, its sequel, which is basically a Christmas carol featuring...
Yeah, just full of snide remarks.
I'm just full of snideness right now.
I was saying, your Snyder, I never realized until I saw that video, has got a bit of a, John Mulaney.
You said John Mulaney, which I never thought of before.
A little bit. Sometimes, occasionally, it's a little spider-hammy. Just
I can see that.
Can you float in the air when you smell a freshly baked pie? Zack Snyder can.
I can see that now, yeah. I mean, I didn't know John Mulaney was who he really was until a couple years ago, so not until after.
I love his stand-ups. And
I've seen
showed
a couple...
up in Spider-Man, I'm like, yes.
Right. Yeah, he has a very funny, old-timey voice like that, so I can see the comparison for sure. This is not going to be a regular thing. Maybe once in a while we'll do something like this, but I really wanted to do something fun.
It came out in April, too, so it works with April Fools.
The late April Fools.
The late Pro Fools.
He coined last time we did this podcast. So it's not going to be a regular thing. Don't worry. Next month we'll be back to the regular FanScription episodes, taking it seriously and having a lot of fun with it. So this is just something a little bit different that I hope you guys enjoyed. But so we're here today to talk not really too much about Snyder, but more about Avengers Infinity War and the upcoming Avengers Endgame, which is coming out in a couple days. And we're just going to give our predictions and stuff like that. But let's talk about Infinity War first. So when I first saw this movie, like everyone did a year ago, I was kind of shocked. I guess I like everyone.
I laughed, I cried, I kissed $12 goodbye.
Yeah, right. Basically, I was by the ending. By the way, if you're watching this, spoilers, I guess. I don't know, just in case. Everyone dies at the end of Infinity War.
If you haven't seen Infinity War yet, 2 days before the next one's gonna come out, I think we're good.
Yeah, right. Just in case, though. I don't know. I get a lot of crap for spoiler stuff sometimes. I do my best.
Oh my God! Spoilers!
You spoiled Mask of the Phantasm by using a pronoun. Give me a break.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, dude. What a bunch of horse manure. Anyway,
it's like you had 20 years to see it.
20 multiple, over that, 23 or something. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Infinity War.
Get back on topic, Walter.
I'm trying. So we got back, going back to watch this. I've seen it about twice since the theater. It definitely holds up. I mean, we're going to see how well it holds up after Endgame comes out, because it's basically the second part of this whole story. So it kind of an Empire Strikes Back kind of thing where it didn't really end. Yeah. But also part of me, honestly, everyone was shocked in the theater. It was like a funeral when the credits were rolling and stuff. But part of me kind of hoped that this was it. I know it wasn't going to be it.
Oh, you mean it just ends with Thanos sitting there,
like the bad guys
at the farm, like this.
I was kind of okay with it. I was a peaceful, weird.
I have some very grumpy mornings where I'm just like, yeah, Thanos was right.
not that he was right.
I could use 50% of the population wiped out right now.
Sure. And not the fact that he was right or his motivations were altruistic or anything, which you can argue they kind of were, but not really that. It's more just we've never seen this kind of thing before where. Something so big just ends like that, I kind of...
that would have been the ultimate troll moment, just the end, and that's
troll moment, but what a great way to go out, though, honestly. If they did that, Thanos came, you had 6 years waiting for him, so a lot of the main characters survived.
If they did that, the Russo brothers would be in witness protection.
I'm sure they would, but would it be worth it to be known?
They'd have Secret Service around them 24/7.
I know, it's just a small part of me, but still, it's that would have been something, huh? That would have been something interesting to see, the reaction to, and no, that's it.
You're messed up,
right? Or maybe if they would have waited a couple years and they just dropped the movie and oh yeah, by the way, here's the second part of that. I'm like, what? I mean, no
well, it would have made ticket
way.
sales easier.
No,
that's
what
for
I'm saying.
sure.
Right, but there's no possible way that with promoting and everything, Disney owning.
It's like finding a unicorn is easier than getting tickets to this damn movie.
I know. The Endgame has got a lot of sold out places. Where I go, most of the time, the midnight screenings, or they're not even midnight screenings anymore. They're like the evening before, so that Thursday. They're never sold out. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen when I go, because I'm not buying in advance, because I never do. But we'll see what happens. Did you buy in advance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And all I'm going to say is good luck, buddy.
All right. Well, I'll let
Good
you
luck.
know. I'm hopefully going to get a review of that up.
My wife and I were basically like buying them in advance, and like with the whole computer, like the whole internet crashing across the world because people are buying tickets to this damn thing.
Yeah.
All these websites like shutting down or having it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But in terms of Infinity War, I mean, that's how I felt about it. I thought it was really well done, though, just in terms of the quality of the movie and the storytelling and the characters. I thought everything was done great. And I'm hoping that they follow through with Endgame, with the story. I know that they're going to probably go back on some of those things that happened at the end of the movie with killing everyone off, and most of everyone's going to be brought back. But who's going to be killed in this one for good? And we'll talk about who that is in a minute, but I want to get your thoughts just on Infinity War first. Now, you read the original comic book run of this, didn't you?
I did, eons ago.
So let me get your thoughts on that. Seeing the movie.
Most of the changes, like, didn't bother me. So, like, the biggest change that I can remember is that there were a couple big changes. One, Thanos does kill a ton of people, including our heroes, though they're in very unique ways, which they alluded to in that scene where the Guardians were going up against him, and like there were like weird things were happening to them, like with him using the Infinity Stones.
Right.
But so I wasn't expecting quite the wipe out everything, wipe out all our heroes at once. Right? Like it was much more kind of battle based. Like whereas this one is just poof like that. So that took me a bit by surprise. Because I don't remember quite going down like that in the comics. I got a lot of flack because like people died in the comics. I'm like, that wasn't what I meant. It was like the way it went down felt different here.
Sure.
And then the other big thing was he was doing it, if I remember, for Lady Death, which was a character.
He was courting death, like literally.
I honestly like this version better.
Okay.
A lot of people are like, "Where's Lady Death?" It's like, honestly, I think it's cooler that Thanos is doing this for himself and not just to impress somebody. Like,
right.
It always, even reading it, I'm like, yeah, that was pretty weird. And then I don't think we're gonna have. Was it Adam Warlock getting the team back together? I think they excised that. I feel like
what they're going to do with Adam Warlock.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, just because I thought for a second that it looked like the Hulk maybe was going to take that role on of like getting the band back together, but
I don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, like, I know they teased him at the end of Guardians 2, so he's going to be in Guardians 3, I'm assuming, but are they going to, like, do another tease? He's going to escape at the end credits or something?
Are we going to do, like, the Infinity War, like, knockoffs, like, down the road, like, phase 12 or 14 or whatever? Like,
there.
So, I don't know, but, so those are the big changes. I did miss a central figure uniting them. That was the only thing that I'm like, okay, I did miss that. None of the other changes, from what I remember, and again, like I had not read this since 1993. I think
it's been a while.
It didn't bother me.
Okay.
As a movie itself, I thought it was really good. I've never thought any of these giant ones, like I know everybody's like, the Avengers is the greatest comic book movie ever made, and I'm like, it's fine.
The first Avengers has not aged as well as I think people thought it would. But it's still a really good movie.
It's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy better.
No, I do too.
I
like
the
first
Black Panther better. I like
there's
there's a lot of them that like a lot of the smaller ones I kind of like better. So this was one where I enjoyed it a lot, and it was cool because like my friends and I were super into Infinity War back when we were like basically like 13, reading this in comics. So it was cool to just like be like, wow, it's so many 20-something years later, and to see this like come to life. Right. Like it's just kind of amazing. We never dreamed as kids that this would happen because comic book movies just weren't like that. So that was super cool. As a movie itself, I'm like, yeah, it's really good. I'd rank it up there. Like, not my favorite.
Like I said earlier, I think we're going to have to wait and see how the story ends to really judge this one on its own.
Yeah, the one thing that didn't happen to me is having read the comic and knowing just where it's going, in a general way, everybody flipping out about like, you know, all the characters they killed. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm just like,
you have no idea.
I'm like, guys, they're coming back.
Right.
Like, you know, most of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. I love Chadwick Boseman's response. Have you seen him in interviews?
No,
They try to ask him what's going on. Like, so about Black Panther 2, and they try to ask him stuff, and he goes like, I'm dead. I'm dead. And he just keeps repeating, I'm dead.
That's
over
awesome.
and over and over again. So
yeah, so that, I don't know. I did not get it. And like, I feel like a lot of, just generally talking to people, I feel like a lot of the people that like had the full mental breakdowns at the end and were like crying and this and that didn't grow up with Infinity War as a comic, as something they experienced there. So they're watching this for the first time, like maybe not seeing that coming. And
no,
I'm like,
I don't. Most people
okay, like
that
I guess, and that is a huge disadvantage for some of us that are older who may have read it already and knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just like it was still great to see. Well, not great to see. It was sad, but you know. It didn't have that same impact for me where I'm like, yeah, I was not like destroyed. I was more like, guys, calm down. Like,
right. They're coming back.
Yeah,
and
but
most
I mean,
of them are coming back.
But yeah, I thought it was well done. Like, that was my favorite line in your reviews. He was just a boy. He was just a boy.
Yeah, I went very over the top with this one. So.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
I agree. I mean, in terms of just rewatching it recently for the FanScription episode, I still am very affected by it. I mean, it's still just like, and you just get hyped up to see the end of the story with Endgame and everything. So
I thought for me, I think Gamora's demise was the one that got to me the most, because I was like, I was just like, oof. Like that one was like the others I could see like that one I'm like I can't remember, like I don't remember that in the comic, like, but I mean again it's been so long, so and I'm sure I'll get corrected 1,000 times, but yeah, that one like kind of took me, like you could see it coming, like the second it's like, well, this is what you're gonna have to do, I'm like, oh no, like, but still I was just like, oh man,
no, it was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough with the Gamora death for sure. And I'm not
I just like her as a character, too.
I like her too, and
awesome.
The thing that's great about Gamora's character is that she gets better with each appearance that she makes in the MCU. So
she does.
Yeah, so it's
because I liked her fine in Guardians, but it's just like she just gets better and better and better and better.
Absolutely, and Infinity War was, I mean, she had some of the best scenes in that whole movie.
Oh,
so,
totally. She stole the show in a number of scenes. So.
Definitely, and I love. Man, sometimes I complain about the Guardian stuff where they have a really great, serious, dramatic scene happening, and they always have to undercut it with a joke all the time. That's just James Gunn's writing or direction or whatever, and that's his preference. And in this one, they had that great scene with Gamora and Star-Lord about her asking him to kill her if Thanos gets her, and he finally agrees to it reluctantly, and it's a great scene. And then you just hear Batista, Drax in the background eating the frickin' the Zorg nuts or whatever those were. So that didn't bother me. I actually hilarious. Oh my goodness! Maybe because there are so many other dramatic points in the movie where that didn't happen every scene.
There's something about, and credit to James Gunn. There's something about Guardians where in some other Marvel movies, it's never been a deal breaker for me in Marvel movies, but it is something I notice, and sometimes I'm like, okay guys, we need a joke every second.
No, you're right. Yeah.
There's something about the way Gunn does it that it seems so within their characters.
It never feels out of character.
It never feels out of character. But there are other Marvel films I've seen where sometimes like we needed a joke here so bad, and I'm like, I just feel like even in the serious moment, like a character would have like cracked wise about that. Like occasionally I'll see one where I'm just like, you didn't need that there.
Sure. With Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the one where I kind of was like, all right, because we get really great serious stuff with Ego and Star-Lord and like learning all his backstory and all this stuff, and even beyond that with Drax and Mantis and all this stuff happening, but there's always just
the
like
complete rewrite of Lando.
Of who?
Yondu.
Yondu.
Yondu, sorry.
I was about to say Lando.
Because we were talking about Lando earlier. Yondu, sorry. No, we were talking about that Star Wars trailer.
Yeah.
I'm psyched to see Lando come out.
I am too. But yeah, in Guardians 2 is where I kind of felt that was, it kind of, you didn't need all that stuff to happen every single scene. But like I said, in Infinity War, I think that especially that one scene, I was rolling. That was so funny.
Guardians is weird because like I know there's a lot of people like the second one better. I still think I prefer the first one.
I like the first one better, for sure.
But I liked the second one a lot.
No, absolutely. Not disagreeing with you at all.
Mary Poppins, y'all!
Mary Poppins, y'all. Great stuff. So, in terms of any other thoughts just on Infinity War, how do you think Thanos was handled? I mean, great villain. So well done.
I got used to the fact that he looks like a giant purple version of the why am I blanking on that show? Pawn Stars. The guy from Pawn Stars.
Which one? Chum-Li?
No, not Chum-Li, the dad. Haven't you seen that where they were like meshing them together?
See that? No. The old man?
No, not the old man. Just
the Rick Harrison.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah, he looks like Rick from Pawn Stars.
I didn't never notice that.
There was somebody was doing a mashup. Somebody was doing a great mashup of like the two of them like giving him like turning him purple.
That's
and, like,
hilarious.
I thought he was handled well. It's really one of those things where it's like you can draw something in a comic and you don't blink. I never even blinked looking at Thanos in the comics, and like, you know, I've got a big picture hanging in my office of something that my friends and I did back in grade school, like, or whatever. Like,
oh, you talked about this in the sibling rivalry.
Yeah, and it's like my friend drew Thanos right in the middle of it, and like we never thought about it. It looks great. He's got the Infinity Gauntlet, like flashing, like, yeah. I'll tell you though, when you CGI that, and not even CGI, I think even if you did like, you know, a full prosthetic, like, and you try to put that in 3 dimensions, something just was not coming off right. I'm like, I didn't realize how silly this guy looked. Like, but it didn't. I got used to it as it went on, so I was okay. But it's definitely one of those. For me, it's when his helmet's on, I buy it more. The second the helmet comes off and he just looks like a chewed purple eraser. I
think, I mean, in terms of the actual CGI with him, I think it's some of the best I've ever seen. I mean, with him moving around.
It's not that the CGI is bad. It's like, how do you...
Just his design. That's what you're
there's something...
Something that doesn't translate from the
earlier designs when they kept him in the shadows. And it's also one of those things when you keep a character in the shadows, they automatically feel cooler. It's like he's running around in sunlight with his helmet off. I'm just like, I didn't realize how goofy this guy looks. And I'm not blaming the CGI people. I actually think the CGI in the movie was really solid.
I think mostly...
It's not that, it's that the character design itself just lends itself to a certain, like, it's kind of goofy.
Yeah,
I never thought about it till now, but, you know.
I understand that. I mean, it didn't really bother me too much. I just thought Josh Brolin's performance came through that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like everything, and he was so good.
No, he was great. I don't think there was a bad performance in that movie. I liked everybody.
100% agree. And how crazy is it that Josh Brolin played Thanos and Cable in the same summer?
I know, that was amazing.
It's the summer of Brolin. The summer of Brolin last summer, man.
I think the other one that shocked me was like, I didn't like to see Loki go.
Yeah, I mean...
I guess that's how the whole human comedy keeps perpetuating itself.
He might be back. I could see him possibly coming back, but even if he doesn't come back in the main continuity or in like the present day stories, they have that Disney Plus show with him, so he's gonna be... Tom Hiddleston's gonna be playing that character for years.
He's the big question mark where I'm like, I don't know if they're bringing him back in this movie universe or if they're just gonna do like
prequel stuff with him.
Yeah, I got a friend and she's totally into Hiddleston and Loki, and she's just like, you should have warned me.
He's the first death, I think, or well, no, Heimdall dies before him.
Yeah,
or the first death that we really see. But yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot of loss in this movie. And it's
first time I've been
really well.
I liked Thor Ragnarok.
I did too. Yes.
A lot, but Thor as a character never really grips me. This is the first time I'm like, I am really into this badass, gritty, vengeful Thor. Yeah, this survivor Thor. I'm like, I like this Thor.
Well, that's why the line I put in there about what is he going to do? Improv them to death? Because he's been such a jokey character in Thor Ragnarok, but then he is so cool in Infinity War. When he comes up with that clip I showed with him coming up with all the electricity and just jamming down the axe hammer.
They juggled all these disparate plot threads really, really well. I'm like, how do you do a movie with this many characters? And I felt like most of them got their fair share of screen time.
See, I thought that about the first Avengers movie. I was like, all right, they're going to do this. It's great. The movie's going to suck. But this is a good starting point. We're going to get better from here. But the movie was really good.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie.
And they've improved from that. I mean, people have a lot of issues with Age of Ultron, I know, but... In terms of this one, this is better. Infinity War is better than the first Avengers movie to me.
That's the thing about Marvel that fascinates me is my brother and I always get accused of being Marvel shills, but
you're not the only one, buddy.
So many bad movies that even when I see a bad Marvel movie, it's not even, I'm like, it's not a bad movie. It's just, eh.
I felt that way about Captain Marvel. I thought it was
Captain Marvel's probably like, it's in my bottom 5.
Yeah,
out of all of them are coming, so it's really there, and like
it's not bad.
Thor 2 and Iron Man 2, and if you watch our reviews of them, at no point do I think we say it's like it's a terrible movie.
No.
There's something to like the Disney Marvel way of it, where it's just like you'll always get something that's watchable.
Sure.
Not good, great, but it's like even their worst stuff, I'm like, well, that's still watchable. I prefer it over to half the stuff I see, over the course of the year or so.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, kudos to them for that.
Mm-hmm. And anything else about Infinity War? I mean, I pretty much think that we said everything that we need to say about that one. Just really great stuff. I'm really excited to see Endgame and how they wrap the story up and who's gonna come back, who's gonna be staying dead, and where they're going to go from here, because after Endgame is going to be like a whole new thing. Mm-hmm. Focusing on new characters. Obviously, we already have Spider-Man Far From Home coming out in a couple months. So we'll see what happens.
I was waiting for more Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
I'll watch it and be like, it's great, but I'm like, now...
No, I get it.
Now that I've had that taste...
No, I want more Spider-Verse. The old friend to the channel, Brian Porter, I stopped by his house to watch Game of Thrones yesterday, mm-hmm. and he got the soundtrack to In the Spider-Verse on vinyl, and he was playing it. I was like, and they had the design
awesome.
And on the record, I was like, that's the coolest freaking
I got it just on my... phone, like
do you?
iTunes, but it's amazing.
Yeah,
that was the first thing I'm like, I need this soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see more of Spider-Verse, but I think we're going to move into predictions for Endgame here. So this is going up on a Tuesday, and Avengers Endgame is officially coming out on Thursday evening. What are some of your predictions? Where do you think they're going to go? My prediction
is at the end of it, Thanos is killed. Captain America rips off his helmet and reveals he's Kaiser Soze.
I was waiting for the joke. I was like, what's it going to be? Waiting for it. Yeah.
I think...
Kevin Spacey's the
if I'm to guess...
Center of the MCU.
Gamora's back. I think...
Do you think Gamora's coming back?
I don't know what her deal is. So I don't know if the actress wants out. If Zoe wants out, then she's not coming back. But
I don't think she does. I mean, she came out in that big support of James Gunn.
Yeah, so if she's still game to be in it, I feel like she's coming back along with pretty much anybody that got dusted.
Sure.
And then my prediction is definitely Iron Man's gone, or at least he either dies or like gives up the helmet. Like I'm done. Because Robert Downey Jr. has made it very clear. I think he's done.
Yeah, and the guy's mid-50s.
Yeah, and he's been doing this for over a decade.
He's been the face of it for a long time now,
and he's been great. So it'll be sad to see him go, but I'm like, no, that's a good run.
Yeah, he's great.
I think him, Captain America are the two that I think are going. They'll be the sacrifice, basically,
to bring everyone else back.
Yeah. Maybe a couple of the secondary characters left standing will go. But that's pretty much what I'm figuring for who lives and dies.
Yeah.
My hopeful prediction is that Brie Larson will be able to turn in a decent performance this time with someone else directing. Like this will be. I don't
think it's her fault. I think
this is going to be the big. This is going to be the big. This will be the answers we've been looking for. Like, okay, who was it? Was it these two directors who came from an independent film background and were clearly out of their depth? Like, they should not have been picked for that movie. Or is it Brie Larson herself? Or is it the little column?
I think it was the story that they were trying to tell with her, having the memory loss and stuff. And maybe they just couldn't figure out a way to play it where it was interesting enough and still having kind of that amnesia thing going on.
Yeah,
but I thought she was super dull in that movie.
No, she was. Absolutely.
She's a good actress.
I've seen her in good things. That's why I was confused. I'm like, what? I've seen you act.
Yeah.
What is going on? Is this the director? Is this the script?
The line I always point out is when she's trapped with like the gauntlets or whatever on her hands, and she's like escaping and run away barefoot or whatever, and like she's closed in by the other scrolls or whatever's going on there. and she like turns to them and goes like, "Any of you guys know how to get these off?" And like has no emotion whatsoever in that line.
No, my biggest problem is the whole point of that movie was like it's about gaslighting, and it's all these guys telling her don't have emotion. I'm like, okay, well there's gonna be payoff. Like there's gotta be payoff. It's like so finally it's like I'm gonna have emotion, and it's literally the exact same performance she's had the whole film. I'm like, well if that's your whole point of this movie, then you need to have her have an emotion, and she never did. Even when their idea of giving her emotion is to just give her fireballs out of her hands. I'm like, well that's not emotion. That's just a superpower.
Sure.
So I'm hopeful, but I'll be honest that the trailer did not, or that at the end of the trailer where she pops up, I rolled my eyes instantly where it's just like I'm gonna do that thing with like the wink, wink, and I'm just like, ugh.
We'll see. Oh, you mean in
the hammer
trailer with the hammer?
Yeah, in the trailer with the hammer, and then Thor's like,
I
like this one, and I'm like, oh please God, just don't let. Because I was like, is that all they're gonna let her do? Is just wink?
I think that, a lot of people were concerned that she was going to be like the focal point of this movie for some reason. She was kind of come and save the day. I think that she's going to be holding down the fort somewhere and like doing a lot of the heavy lifting while our main heroes that we've been following are changing the timeline or whatever they're going to be doing. So I think they're going to be cross-cutting back and forth with her. We're going to get some character building with her, but she's not going to be a focus. I think the focus is going to be on the group of characters that we've been following.
I mean, we're already screwed with character building with her because they didn't do it in the movie. So at this point, I'm just hoping for a good performance.
I mean, a lot of people didn't like the Hulk movie, right? They didn't think Bruce Banner was done well. I actually kind of like the Incredible Hulk. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that movie still. But
the Ang Lee one? Or
no, not Hulk.
Okay,
Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Okay, so it was Hulk, the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that which is in the MCU universe and everything. Yeah. But now everyone loves the Hulk when he shows up as a secondary character, so maybe that'll be the same thing.
I'm hoping they do that with her, and I'm hoping it's a good performance, and I'm hoping that it like makes up for the fact that they didn't know how to tell a story previously. But that's the problem: is the Russo brothers now are inheriting that mess. Yeah. So it's like, and were they aware? But here's the thing: were they aware of this, or are they just being handed this character, and it's like, don't worry, we already told her story. Here's what that story was. Just run with this. I'm like, so I'm hoping that they're able to like do something with it. Like, but I mean, this was the big problem with Black Panther is when you looked at Infinity War. Like, I've seen some people complaining like there wasn't enough Wakanda.
Well, because they didn't know that.
Nobody knew.
They wouldn't have killed him.
They were shooting those simultaneously.
Yeah, there's no way that they would have killed
Black
him.
Panther was just finishing up while the other one was in production. So.
Absolutely.
So I'm hopeful that like this still works out. And this is the one problem with an extended universe like this, and when you've got these overlapping projects, is like, man, if something goes wrong or there's like a hang up somewhere with one of the other ones, it's like it can create a ripple effect. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm hoping she's good.
Right. I mean, and like I said, I don't think Captain Marvel's a bad movie. I think a lot of people disagree with us. We might even be in the minority because I know a lot of people really, really like that movie. So. That's just our opinions on that.
I thought it was like screenwriting 101 fails, which is really rare for Marvel. So I don't know what was up with that.
It was interesting. In some ways, I kind of connect. I love the stuff with her getting up, the montage of her getting up. I just wish everything leading to that was a little
I was saying, like, I love that montage. I wish it was in a better movie because I looked at all those little girls going, wow, you're going to grow up to be this bore.
No. But yeah, I just want to see some more charisma from her, that's all. I think she's obviously a great actress. I think she can do this. I'm very excited to see where they go with her.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
So we'll see what happens with her character. But in terms of any other predictions that I have for Endgame, I also think Cap and Iron Man are dead. I don't think they're going to live to, like retirement or whatever. I think they're both gone. I think a strong possibility is that we're going to see Winter Soldier take up the Captain America mantle, like as happened in the comics from the Ed Brubaker run, where Winter Soldier took over for Captain America. We're going to see maybe a new costume, or just like him picking up the shield, and it's going to be obvious. And then they're going to reveal the actual title of the Winter Soldier and Falcon series that's going to be on Disney Plus is going to be Captain America and the Falcon, and it's going to be the new Captain America with the
I could see
Falcon.
that.
That's what I think. That's a big thing that I think
that would be smart.
might happen. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know if Disney's gonna do that, but
right. I'm just thinking
Disney's
that's a
very hit and
possibility.
miss sometimes when you just like.
Right, we'll see, but I do think that's a not a strong possibility, but at least a moderate possibility.
Mickey's taking notes right now. Holy shit, they're awesome!
In terms of anything else, I don't think Loki's coming back, but I think there's a 30% chance that we'll get like a little tease or something. I think Thor might die, honestly. There's a chance that Thor might die. I think everyone's kind of expecting Cap and Iron Man to die.
I don't think Thor is gonna die.
But I think
I think the second they saw Ragnarok did pretty good, they're
going to want to do another one. No,
yeah,
I get
so
it. But I do think that
if he was going to die, the studio notes I think have come in and said don't.
I think that they're going to throw a curveball at us that we're not expecting because a lot of people are expecting and anticipating Cap and or
someone else
Iron
is
Man
definitely.
to die.
I agree.
So
someone
another
else
main
is definitely
character is going to die. So who is it going to be? Is Pepper gonna die? I don't know. Something crazy is gonna. I don't know. Something else that we're not expecting is going to happen.
Pepper's too small of a character. I think that it's got to be like.
Or maybe she dies and then Iron Man's like, I ain't got no reason. Let's just finish this, and then he dies.
Please no.
Yeah,
That'd be
possible.
so freaking cliche.
He finds out that she got dusted. I don't think she actually got dusted. But I think we're gonna see Valkyrie in this movie. Tessa Thompson's character from Ragnarok, which I'm very excited about.
Loved Valkyrie, from Ragnarok. That was one of my favorite characters.
Tessa is like one of my favorite actresses right now.
Yeah,
Actors,
she was
actresses,
awesome.
Whatever. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm even looking forward to that Men in Black movie, honestly, because she looks pretty funny in that. Her and Chris Hemsworth. I'm looking forward to seeing
anything that comes out, and like we were talking about this with Ghostbusters, it's like, I hope it's good, but you get that sixth sense, it's just like,
Right.
Men in Black's a franchise I would love to be good because I loved the original. I actually thought the third one was pretty good. The second one's garbage. But the third one was decent.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the second one is terrible.
I'm trying to think who else they would kill off that'd be big enough.
I don't know.
But see, that's a character you can afford to part with. Like that's
Hulk? No, you kind of need Hulk as that secondary character to pop up. I could see them killing Thor, maybe to be brought back later. Maybe he's the one that gets brought back.
I'll give you this. If you kill Thor, you can kill Thor, but I'm like, he ain't really dead.
He'll come back.
I feel like they're jonesing for a fourth Thor movie.
You're right. After how successful Ragnarok was, but we'll see what happens in terms of how they fix this. I think it's going to be some kind of time travel thing. I think a lot of people have been thinking that. But also, it could be something else. I don't know. Maybe they're going to take the fight to Thanos in some other way. We saw in the trailers they have those suits, those matching suits that are like white and black and stuff. And
I mean, there's space battles in the comics, so I'm hopeful.
Right. No, that's obviously going to be in there for sure.
Do
you think it's going to be a time travel thing, or what happens?
I mean, he's got a time stone.
Right. So they're going to have to go steal the time stone and then use it to power something.
I'm trying to remember what had. Jeez. I'm gonna have to go buy. I'm gonna have to find a copy and track it down. I feel the presence of an actual time stone. Makes it the most.
So we'll see what happens. Obvious. But I don't know. There could be another way they go about it. We'll see what happens. Everyone keeps talking about the quantum. The quantum realm is the thing that people.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. The gauntlet's just this big giant magical MacGuffin device. So that's always the thing when I was watching it. Even if I had no knowledge of it, the second you just talk about how powerful the gauntlet is, I'm like, then really you just need to get that from him and just.
How are they going to take it? We'll see what happens. But I do think the quantum realm is going to be involved in some capacity because they set that up in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
And it's going to be involved in some case. Either Ant-Man by himself or everyone's going to have to go in there to go back in time. Something's going to happen with that. I'm really looking forward to it. I have not been this excited about a movie in a while. I mean, I get excited about a lot of the big movies and stuff that I'm interested in, but this is like a culmination of the past 11 years.
I am excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more excited it's been a long time, probably. I had a little bit of that with Force Awakens, where it's we're seeing a Star Wars movie again.
Yeah, I was like that too.
Probably since Return of the King, where I felt wow, I'm watching an event.
Right. This feels like an event,
and it's 3 hours long, just like Return of the King.
Take your pisses and your craps right before you go into the theater.
But no, I'm excited to feel like I'm a part of this giant thing that's going
on.
More so than just seeing the movie itself. Because I'm excited to see the movie, but I feel to a certain degree I'm yeah, I mean they're gonna come back At least so it's just like, but
they're gonna throw us curveballs, man.
They'll throw a curveball, but I'm not as into it like from that. But like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? It's just more like, yeah, it's gonna be super cool to see all these other people super excited about it, and like really into it, and like there is like an infectiousness like when nerds like get together and are, like,
for sure.
When
they're not angry at each other, they're just excited about something. I mean, it's rare and rare nowadays, but this is, I think, is an exception.
Yeah,
everyone's pretty hyped about Endgame. So
it's like, as I said, I wasn't a huge fan of Captain Marvel, but like there were a lot of people that were like loving the movie, and I'm like, great. Like it's fun seeing a movie like. I would rather see a movie where at least audiences are split, but you know that some people enjoyed it, versus when you see a movie that's so bad and just people walk out like, you just feel like, geez, now I'm just depressed.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited for it. You're very excited for it. I think in general, people are looking forward to this one. So I hope you guys enjoy that movie when you see it on Thursday. In terms of, I guess I should explain a little bit why I want to do a Zack Snyder thing. So. A lot of people enjoy the over-the-top crazy portrayal of Zack Snyder. It's not at all accurate. It's just a weird, a very strange take on the character. Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it, so I like doing it. It brings joy to people for the most part, I think. So
to see the laughter on a child's face.
You laughed at a child's face. It's just because of the voice. Let's be honest.
It's just a boy.
It's just because of this stupid voice is why I like doing it, because it makes me laugh and it makes a lot of you laugh. So. I got the idea a while back, and just to do a lighter one, the comedic one that we're talking about, and also Snyder came out with these comments. Did you hear about those? I quoted it in the video. He had a screening of Batman v Superman, and somebody asked him, like in an interview, what he thinks about people being upset that Batman kills. And I know you're not a big proponent. You don't really care.
I'm not the one to talk to you about this.
You don't care that much about it.
My Batman was Michael Keaton, and that guy was a serial killer.
Yes, absolutely. But his response to it was just this over-the-top, profane thing. Visually, I think all his movies always look so good for the most part.
They do.
The action scenes.
I have a small quibble with your desaturate the whole thing, because he does. He does, strangely enough, though, in a lot of his films, have real pops of color.
Sometimes.
No, I think,
I mean, starting from 300, everything's very purple, and not purple,
I think
gray, and like sepia tone, kind of. He does suck, like Man of Steel, there's no color in that movie. There's a couple, like, spots, but mostly it's very desaturated and doesn't look...
There was more color, I thought, in Batman vs. Superman.
There was.
Some
you're right
give
about
credit that. For.
You're right. You're
and
right
I
about
think
that.
Watchmen. I love Watchmen as a visual movie.
No, absolutely. But in terms of his, I hesitate to say comprehension. His take or his angle on the characters or his interpretation of the characters, I vehemently disagree with. It's obvious, and especially from that quote, that he just doesn't behold to the same things, the core values that a lot of people hold these characters, to themselves as.
I'm all for different points of view when it comes to...
That's fine. And like people
my problem with Snyder is people like, I want to do a darker take on Superman. Cool! I want to see a dark take on Superman. I also want it to be good.
Right.
That's like the problem. It's not that it's a darker take or even his weird theories on that these people are like gods
in a freaking dream world, man.
Yeah, living like there's a part of me that I'm like that could be really interesting. He for some reason does not have the tools to execute that vision in a way that makes a good movie. That's where I lose it.
He's a great storyteller when it comes to scripts and stuff, and just piecing together a story. Even though I do think that the extended cut or the whatever they call it, the cut from BVS is significantly better.
Yeah, no, it is.
They should have released that, like these little pockets.
Oh no, their attempts to always WB's attempts to always
that?
Fix it, always make it worse.
And I never hated a Zack Snyder movie, except maybe Sucker Punch. I really didn't like, but I never really hated a Zack Snyder movie. Like they're just like, all right, it was all right, but it's not like I want a Superman movie. I want a Batman movie.
To me, it's like fascinating ideas that he doesn't know how to execute. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, I'm like, because when I hear him talk, and we can talk about how crazy he is sometimes, but I'm like,
he's very passionate about the characters.
And I'm just like, honestly, I'd be interested to see a really good take on that idea.
I think
it's just, you're not the guy to do it. You can tell somebody, run with this idea, let them do it.
Make the storyboards.
It's the George Lucas problem. I feel like he's got good ideas. I'm like, no, that's interesting. I'd be very fascinated to see that. But then when he does it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's just execution is seems to be the problem with him. But Yeah, I mean, it's nothing personal. It's not like I have a strong dislike for the guy. It's great that he got the handed the keys to make these movies. That's great, man.
Honestly, I feel like your impression does him many more favors because I find him strangely kind of likable with that silly voice.
He's like, my version of him is like this weirdly optimistic.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Like I like that. Like
yeah, it's a different take on him for sure than what I've seen interviews and stuff, but. Anyway, that's kind of why I wanted to put it out there. Is like it's kind of timely with those comments that he made and that made the rounds online and stuff. And Infinity War's coming out. I thought, yeah, let's just see what we could turn with this. So, yeah, it was a good time.
I mean, he had personal tragedies, so he looks like he's moving away from doing those.
And that's why we stopped doing that for a while. I was like, give him time.
Yeah, I mean, and DC now is like going a different route. Mm-hmm. That I'm all for.
A lot of people are for. A lot of people really love the Shazam movie. A lot of people loved Aquaman.
I like Shazam because, and that's the thing. They're not being Marvel.
Right.
Which is what I like. I never wanted that. And they're like, well, because if they tell a joke, it's Marvel. I'm like, no. Like, I watched Shazam. I'm like, there is nothing really Marvel to me about this. Marvel would just not make this movie. To me,
it doesn't
anyway,
feel
it just doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. Even Wonder Woman to me does not feel like there is something, and it's the advantage of having characters that are also for the most part intrinsically different from Marvel.
Yeah,
like these god-like characters, which is interesting, and that's why I liked Wonder Woman. And then Shazam is the closest you could argue maybe to Marvel, but it didn't feel like Marvel at all to me, and it got really gritty and dark.
I know that's some of the stuff I was like, come on.
No, I loved it for that.
I know a lot of people love that movie. I mean, my gripes are small with it, but like I was really hoping it would be more of something that I would enjoy better. But it's still enjoyable. I'm glad people like it. I hope DC keeps being successful. So
so I hope they keep going down this route because I want DC.
I want DC to be
great, Marvel
man.
Show. It's like I want DC. I'm
a bigger DC fan.
I grew up with DC. We didn't have Marvel movies when I was a kid.
We had the 1990 Captain America.
Like we had
Matt Salinger.
I grew up with DC. I have a nostalgic attachment to DC movies. So watching them screw up actually really upsets me.
Right.
No, it's not coming from a place where I hate DC. I hope they go down. It's like, no, I want you to get it right.
Right. And that's why I'm more, not protective, but I'm more invested in them doing Superman right than Batman right, because we've seen Batman done fantastically.
A dozen times.
Yeah, a bunch of times. And not even just on the movies, but on the small screen with TV shows and cartoons and all that stuff. So it's like Batman's been done fantastic.
And it's an easier character.
It is an easier character. Superman, it's very tough to handle him because he's such a product of his time in the golden age of comic books.
Yeah.
And it's hard to adapt him to different time periods.
That's where Donner Puzo got it right, because they're just like, okay, we're going to have a sense of humor and be campy, but we're also going to tell literally a mythological story. That's how Puzo saw it. He's like, all right, we're going to tell a great god myth.
Yes, and it's done great, and I still love watching those movies to this day. I think they've aged great. Even though it takes place in the 70s, it feels like it maybe could have even taken place in the 40s or 50s. Like it's just so well done.
And it's like it's not New York, it's Metropolis. It has like a strange. It's
got
mostly timeless. It's very it's very 70s. Some of the effects are dated, but there is a timelessness to it because of that.
Absolutely, and I just want to see. You can have him be more realistic. You can have him be more.
Even a
little bit more pessimistic or a little bit darker, but the core of the character needs to be there. And I don't think Man of Steel had that. I don't think Batman v Superman had that. And I want to see a great Superman movie again. And I may be doing that on FanScription one day, so keep an eye out for that. Not anytime soon, but keep an eye out for that one. Rob, your little brother's going to be taking over next time.
My little brother is going to be taking. I love it when people say that. It's like, we thought you were the younger one, Rob. Like,
no. As the older brother myself,
he's
gotta.
We're gonna let the little tyke take over, and
we'll see how he does. First time on the big internet.
See if we keep him on.
We'll see what happens.
Because I don't think he doesn't bring success anywhere he goes. So,
no, absolutely not. We're taking a gamble here, folks. So I hope you enjoy. It's
going to be a huge gamble, but no. He wants to do Mary Poppins Returns.
Yes, which will be interesting.
Which I didn't realize. I just said it now. I'm like, what a generic title that is.
It is.
Mary Poppins Returns. Like, how many returns of Batman Returns?
I just think Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, that's another problem I have.
So he wants to do that. He's talking about me. He's like, I don't know, maybe I'll do Mary Poppins as an editorial, like Mary Poppins Returns as an editorial, and then do Nostalgia Critic editorial.
I don't want to confirm that or anything.
We won't confirm that, but he's mulling it over right now.
Right.
So,
but FanScription will be next month featuring Doug writing for his version of Mary Poppins Returns. He's a big fan of the original film, so
I am too. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Apparently Malcolm had not seen it, so
yeah, they did.
Tamara
Tamara's
watched it.
You can check that out here on the channel as well. A lot of stuff going on.
He loved it too. So
yeah.
And then after that, you'll have another one, and then I'll be back.
Yeah, and then Rob will be back in a couple months with a brand new episode of FanScription. I will be back in June with probably a Spider-Man related one. So
nice.
You'll see towards the end of that month what I'm going to be tackling. But I have some interesting ideas how to take that, and I'm looking forward to you guys seeing that one. Anything else you want to say, Rob? Anything else about Infinity War or Endgame or anything going on?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's been a long day for us, folks.
If you're wondering why we're stumbling half the time, it's like we've been filming for hours and hours.
And then we had
the next NC is going to be a long...
Oh, boy. Yes, keep an eye out for that. Also got a lot of new stuff coming up. I know a lot of people have been asking us about when's the new stuff coming out, whatever. Well, we're still doing FanScription, which is new, and this podcast is still new. But there's
It's not new. It's now 3 months old.
I know. But there's a lot of new stuff coming out with Heather Roos and Iona Wade and the whole crew.
Oh, we got plans.
Just please be patient. We are working on it.
Just reminded me of Billy D. Williams from Tim Burton's Batman. I'm working on it.
I'm working on it. And goes back in the phone. So next month for the podcast, we'll probably have Doug here. Rob, obviously you can join us as well. Maybe we'll have a 3-person podcast for that one. We'll see. But we'll be back next month with Mary Poppins Returns. Enjoy Endgame, everybody. I hope you like the movie.
Hope it's good.
I hope it's good as well. I'm sure you'll be doing a sibling rivalry with Doug for it. I'll be reviewing it on my personal channel too. Everyone's going to be talking about this movie, so I hope you like it. Enjoy this time because it may never be here again. Enjoy it. All right.
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment. This might be the peak of the Marvel stuff. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, it's certainly DC's on the rise now, in my personal opinion. So it's like, all right, finally some competition.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens going forward. So thank you guys for watching or listening, and we'll catch you back here on the podcast or on a brand new episode of FanScription next month. See you later, everybody.